Yes, guys. How we all doing? Good? That was different, wasn't it? Anyway, so we're all here. We're all back. A little break, a little time to do some other stuff. Back into this with a Marc Roca player profile. Obviously, we all know Marc Roca. He's been playing for Leeds. He's played 6 games for Leeds. Started every game, playing well, excellent player. We know that. But I want to get into the player a bit. Who is he? His bit of his history, a bit of his kind of mindset, his philosophies and things like that. Because he's quite an interesting character, and a lot of things about him here will help that. It's not going to be a long video. It's going to be a quick little filler into who Marc Roca is and a little bit of stuff about the guy, about our player. We're starting off with the trusty old Wikipedia for this one, just for his early thing. Don't worry. So let's go. Marc Roca was born on the 26th of November 1996. He's 25 years old. He made 121 competitive matches in 4 La Liga seasons for Espanyol. In October 2020, he moved to Bayern Munich, and he also won the 2019 European Under-21 Championship with Spain. If you look at that squad as well, what a team they had. So you can see he made 105 appearances for the first team of Espanyol, and it was at this time during Espanyol where Marc Roca blew up. And obviously at that time, I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of him. When I was, 2016, I was a bit younger. I didn't really watch Spanish football so much, apart from Messi and all that. But this is where he actually got attention from the Spanish squad. He never actually made the first team appearance in Spain, but he got attention from the coach, and he was definitely on the radar. And then 2020, he made his big move to Bayern Munich. But that didn't quite work out for him. As to why, of course, you've got to look at who Bayern Munich had in that position. And you look at Bayern Munich's central midfielders, and it's some of the best in the world, right? Let's just look at this midfield. For a start, Joshua Kimmich, who, as well as being one of the best midfielders in the world, is incredibly consistent and doesn't get injured. And you've got Leon Goretzka, who gets injured a lot, but is an excellent player, right? They've just signed Ryan Gravenberch, who is one of the best young talents in Europe, and Mikel Celibica. And there's a few of us, that was there during Roca's time that have now left and moved on. But the point was, even though he was a talented player, he was never getting in over, especially these two here, right? That just wasn't happening. So, obviously, Bayern Munich decided to sell him on. But it was interesting as to why they sold him on. Because you thought, he didn't get games, it wasn't good enough, but it wasn't as straightforward as that, and I'll show you this article here. So this is quite a recent article by teamtalk.com. Leeds United midfielder Marc Roca has been described as a really good player by the sporting director of Bayern Munich. So the sporting director of Bayern Munich was talking about how COVID implemented the transfers and the money in the club, basically. He said this: our income was down 120 million euros because of an empty Allianz Arena where Bayern Munich play. You can spend that money you don't have. We don't take such risks. As we know, in the German league, the clubs are very sensible. They're part fan-owned, so they make smart decisions, and they know who to sell, they know who to buy. They're very good at recruitment, right? Like I said there, we don't take risk. We tried to get in players who didn't pose a financial risk, but made it possible to generate sales afterwards that allowed us to get some top players in. A player like Marc Roca might not have quite made it, but he's nevertheless a really good player, an interesting player, who's a starter for Leeds United now. So Bayern Munich were looking for the type of player that is more of a project, more of an investment. Now, Marc Roca at the time, a 25-year-old midfielder that wasn't getting in, is not going to get a chance. Right, they're looking for young Ryan Gravenberch, who they brought in, a young player that has a high ceiling. Marc Roca's ceiling for them was there because, it'd been 2 years and he didn't really get in the squad. And a lot of that is down to system. But the Bayern Munich manager, Julian Nagelsmann, actually, I can't find the article, but he did speak about Marc Roca and said he's been unlucky. He was unlucky not to play. It was never his quality or his attitude. It was just simply down to the fact, system-based, and the fact that he had his favourites in the team, and he felt for Marc Roca, and that's why he wanted him to go and play in the Premier League, a good team at a good club, and he's doing that. So it's an interesting one look there on the signing. Now I want to get into him as a person because he's very interesting, and it puts a face to the guy, to the footballer. He's not a machine; he's a human, and we'll get into a little interview here. There's obviously an article here by the Yorkshire Evening Post. We all know who actually wrote it. Floria Snelson. Sorry, my pronunciation. Floria Snelson. So here we go. The Spaniard signed for Leeds this summer, 10-minute switch from Bayern Munich. Yes, we know this. Just made 24 appearances over 2 seasons with the German Giants. He obviously lifted the trophy there, but again, I spoke about this in my video about him previously. It's that winning mentality, right? It doesn't matter if he's been playing, he's part of that winning squad, and he's got that leadership and that mentality of what it takes to win. He's around players that are winning things, and he did play a small part in that, regardless it was small, but he played a part in it. And this bit here is the bit I really want to get into. During a period with little playing time with former club Espanyol, Roca had turned to psychology books for answers and discovered mindfulness, the practice of being in the present moment. Now, after years of using meditation to improve focus and ease pressure, Roca is applying the technique to his performances at Elm Road. So what he did was, during times where he wasn't playing as much, he read and taught himself techniques about mindfulness, meditation, psychology, which is interesting to me because, you don't usually know about these things with footballers. You see them as just working out machines, all this buying luxury cars, but this is another side to the person, what makes him a human, right? Taking time out of everything he does to work on his mindfulness, work on himself, relaxing, living in the moment, making decisions in the moment. And he says here, in football, you don't have time to think. Every action is very fast. Everything is quick here, and you don't have time to think. It's time to react. He said this in an interview on BBC, which is really good. You should go listen to it. BBC Radio with Marc Roca. Really good interview. About 8 minutes long. Really good. It's really interesting. And he spoke in there about how he reads books about mindfulness, living in the moment, helping him make decisions quickly. I think that's what you see with him on the pitch. He's so good, and he's so good at making those quick, easy decisions. He knows what's most efficient. He knows what's quickest. He knows what's best for the team. I think there's a leader in there as well. And living in that moment thing, you can see that. He does seem a lot calmer now, I think. He was a player that, liked cards, but I think now we're seeing a lot calmer and he's understanding everything. He seems very smart. This is just him quoting it. I sometimes do medications to be clear, to connect to myself, to be ready, because sometimes the ball is arriving to you and you have to play and you don't know what you have to do. So it's muscle memory, using your brain to already know what's happening ahead. And he speaks in another article that his idol is actually Xabi Alonso, who was an excellent footballer, who made football look easy. He knew what he was doing instantly. You could see that picture. And I think that's what Marc Roca is trying to emulate with his style. And you can see it in there. There's no doubt about it. And he also put here, it helps me a lot. So yeah, it's just an interesting. And it says here, just finally, I think we are working very hard. We are giving our best in every training session, in every game. I think we have to hunger to become a good team, and we are heading the right way. We have keep working on, keep pushing, because he's a very, very good team, and it's a young team. And for me, I see a player like this who's worked on himself to get himself better, and I see a player that really wants to improve. And whatever team he's part of, he's a really big asset. He's not got a terrible injury record. He's not got a disciplinary record necessarily. He likes a card, but in terms of with the coach, with the manager, he'll always follow instructions. He's got a great attitude and he wants to improve himself, especially in his mind. What we struggle with last season, mentality. The players didn't have that mentality, and I think Marc Roca will have that mentality. He'll forget about a mistake, that's gone. Second he makes a mistake, it's gone. He lives in this moment. Past game, gone. And you can see that. He doesn't carry over bad performances. It's a new, fresh start for him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how we can go with Marc Roca, an excellent player. And just before we move on to it, just the final part, just showing me stats from this season. I'll give it a little zoom in. So yeah, here it is. This is FB Ref, and this is comparing with players similar position to him. Just got to look at this. Obviously, ignore goals. He scored 1, but total shots, 1 shot per 90, assists. Obviously, not got any assists. I'm looking at this bit. This is the player we wanted. Passes attempted, a lot. Very good percentile, high percentage. Pass completion, 84%. Very good, considering it's a type of player that would like to risk a pass and tries cutting passes. 84% is a very good percentage of passes completed. This is the best one for me. Progressive passes. Look at that. 99 percentile percentage. 7.2 progressive passes. That's extremely high. This as well. This, by the way, this is per 90 in the last 365 days. The stats you want, even dribbles completed. Decent. He does a dribble. He likes to drive with the ball. Progressive carries. He likes to push forward with the ball. And these are all comparing with players in a similar position. And there's a lot of greens, pressures, tackles, interceptions, all very good. He's an excellent player. This is a little bit on his thing. And yeah, we've enjoyed seeing him this season. And it's just a little bit on his mentality, where he came from, what he's gone through. Because you've got to understand as well, it must have been really difficult for him not playing for 2 years. It must have been really difficult. And to get a player come through that and still be an excellent player at the other side of it, for me, it shows mentality. And that's why I believe Marc Roca is going to be excellent for us in the next few years. I think it's one of them players you can keep as well. At his age, he's not the highest profile player. I don't think he's one of them players who will necessarily be needed by a big club. So I think he's someone that can really establish himself in this Leeds team in the next few years. And I think he could be captain material or leadership material for me. So yeah, what a guy, what a human, what a player as well. And I look forward to seeing him. Thanks for the support. I've got a Sinistera one coming up. I'm going to do 1 or 2 videos on the youth team. I'm going on Friday to watch, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, thanks for the comments on the last video. Give me some ideas. It's really appreciated. Yeah, I'm just, trying to figure out what to do for the time there's no football. I've got some more ideas, so I'll keep doing a few more of these. Sinistera is another good one about mentality and adversity, because what you went through with injury is crazy. So both these 2 players have gone through things and they pushed through it, and now they're reaping the benefits of a strong mentality and believing in yourself. Believing in yourself, simple. Yeah, I'll stop rambling. Yeah, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. It is almost 5 a.m. because my sleep pattern is messed up. But yeah, thanks for the support. I appreciate you all, and see you next time. Peace.